All right. What's up, Tycoon? What's up, traders? Super excited for today's video. We're going to be covering 5 stocks in today's video, really about 4. All right. These are all viewer requests. I try to do these viewer requests every week. So we're going to go ahead and knock them out. As always, the content provided on this channel is for informational and educational purposes only, and is not intended to be relied upon as legal, financial, or investment advice. So please be sure to read through the full disclaimer. You can also email me anytime for personal coaching sessions, ZachlyTrades@gmail.com. I do those every week, and we can work on scheduling a time together. If you do want to support the channel, today's video is sponsored by Simply Wall Street. They have a really amazing platform. All right, they have an awesome website, an awesome app, and you can get a 14-day free trial and up to 40% off for the first 100 people that join. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into our charts for today. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get out of our thing here, head on over to TradingView, and the first one is going to be the UFO. Okay, ticker symbol UFO. This is the space ETF, and I'll be honest, I didn't even know about this ETF. So we're going to dive into it, give you guys a quick breakdown. One thing that I do want to mention, right, if we zoom in here to the lower time frame, such as the 1 hour, you can see that this stock is pretty illiquid, right? When you look at, the candlesticks here. So that's definitely something you need to keep in mind, is it may not be as easy to get in and out of your positions as you may be used to with some more liquid stocks. Now, with that being said, we do appear to have a nice bullish channel forming here. And if we take a look at some of our major levels, all right, currently, 1975 is that big resistance level that we're battling. All right, then we have 2023 above there, and 2092 is going to be our level above there. These are all of the Fibonacci retracement levels from our recent swing high connected down to our swing low. And so these are going to be the key levels of resistance that you need to break above if you want to look for 100% retracement and retest some of our previous highs up here close to the $22 price level. Okay. Now, when we zoom in here, right, we have a lot of lines on the charts. These are actually not moving averages. These are average volume weighted price. Okay. These are anchored VWAPs. Now, the reason that I like to use these and the reason they're so important is because this is where big institutions are placing their orders, whether it's buy orders or whether it's sell orders. People like Ken Griffin, the CEO of Citadel, they're on record stating that they're buying and selling at the average volume weighted prices. And so we have the year to date anchored VWAP in purple. All right, and we can see here that we are currently still above our year to date anchored VWAP, but we're below our week today, our month today, and our quarter today anchored VWAP. So at the moment, all right, momentum is starting to lean towards the bears. So you do need to be cautious, right? If we take a look at our MACD right here, you can see we also got a MACD crossover to the downside, and this is usually preceded by some downwards pressure. So there's still some support. All right, we definitely have some support here right at 1926, and we have our support trend line of this bullish channel that we're trading in. So if we can maintain support and get back above all of our anchored VWAPs, you can see they're all squeezing together right now, and they're basically all flat. Okay, so they're not all leaning down, leaning toward bearish. They're not all leaning up, leaning towards bullish. They're really flat right now. So this thing could go either way, and we could head back up towards the top of the channel here. But if we break 1926 and break through our trend line here, there's a very strong chance we're going to retest some of our previous lows. So you do want to be cautious of that when it comes to the UFO ETF. The next one we're going to take a look at is going to be NU. All right. We'll go ahead and break down this chart. Now, this chart looks super, super clean, honestly. When you zoom out a little bit, you can see the larger structure that we have here. We have another bullish channel forming. And I think it's definitely a possibility we could get this 5-wave structure up to 877, maybe potentially even higher up to 947. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done first. Okay, we've got a strong wave 2, 1, 2, and 3, and your wave 3 is always going to be your largest and strongest wave. So it definitely looks like a wave 3 right here. And we really just need to see, is this wave 3 going to keep extending higher, or are we going to pull back, right? You can see this box right here. This is just simply symbolizing box consolidation. Okay, there's 3 stages to a reversal. You have your downtrend, then you have your box consolidation, and then you have the reversal to the upside. Same thing to the downside, right? You have the uptrend, then you have box consolidation, and then you get the downtrend. So we do need to be cautious. I'd say if we break this key level here, which is going to be right around 754, then there's a very strong chance that we're going to get a pullback here. Oftentimes you would look for a standard deviation move. So basically the size of this box, you would look for that to be a move to the downside. But if this thing does break down, all right, which it doesn't have to, it can continue trading sideways or actually break out to the upside of this box consolidation. But if we were to get a pullback, it's not the end of the world, right? All of our wave forward targets right here are going to be 732, 671, 622, and 574. These are all areas where the stock can pull back to potentially continue that uptrend and try to hit this bullish price target of 877. So definitely keep an eye out on this one. When you look at the RSI, you see this clear bearish divergence, which if you're not familiar with that term, I'll break it down for you guys very simply. But take a look how price action has continued to make these higher highs. Meanwhile, the RSI is making lower highs. That's a simple term known as bearish divergence. We also have the box consolidation here. Okay, some people would call this a bull flag. You can try to call it a bull flag if you want. And you just need to be cautious if we do break that 754 level, all right, that most likely we're going to get, come and test some of these levels, if not all of them. So you want to be prepared for that. One thing you could look for a breakout short term is going to be a break of this bearish divergence trend line, right? If we are able to break out, retest, and push up higher, most likely we're going to see this stock break out as well. You need to be very cautious of a look above and fail on this trend line. That's going to be a bearish signal, because the reason being, if we were to get a breakout right here at this moment, that is the opportunity right here for bulls to show that they're in control of the price action and really push price higher. If they fail to take advantage of that and we come up, and then don't retest there and come back down, that's going to be a bearish signal. And that's most likely when you're going to see, some type of a blow off top, right, where you have this big move to the upside and then you get a strong reversal to the downside. You want to be cautious of that, right? What you want to see is the breakout, retest, and it can even just hug this trend line and move sideways or break out, push up higher. That's what you're going to be looking for if you're looking for any type of short-term bullishness on ticker symbol NU. The next one we're going to break down is going to be SMURF, if I can spell it right. Okay, it's SMURF. This is tokens.com. They're basically involved in a lot of DeFi protocols, and this one was looking really nice, honestly. Okay, I had this 5-wave structure that I was looking for on the breakout after we broke out of this initial selling structure here. But this wave 4, okay, I didn't think it would extend this far. Right now, technically, this is still a healthy level, right? And we could continue this move up higher. We bounced off the 61.8% retracement level here, which is 0.1465. But I didn't want to see it pull back this deep. If you take a look, we closed right at the year-to-date anchored VWAP. So you can see that's acting as strong support right now, but our quarter to date anchored VWAP, our weekly and our monthly are all curling down. So that's going to put a little bit of downside pressure and act as some areas of resistance. We do have some selling structure right here that we're in. This looks like healthy controlled selling. And this is, controlled selling is actually bullish when you can spot it. But we need to see if we're going to get some follow through and some momentum to the upside of this channel. And if we can break out, all right, 22.2219 is going to be a big resistance level. That's our 78.6% retracement level of resistance. Strong resistance over here in the past in January and February. And you can see we closed or we actually opened right here on that candlestick and had a strong sell off there as well. Really haven't been able to get above that 0.2219. If we do, I think it's very likely that we are able to retest the previous highs of around 0.25 to 0.26. So keep an eye out on that one. For now, we're in the selling structure, okay, and we could just continue zigzagging up in here, testing that 0.1465 and testing 0.1424, testing those areas of support ultimately until we get a capitulation to the downside or we get a breakout to the upside. We have an RSI divergence, not even a divergence necessarily, I would call it, but we do have a nice little RSI trend line here. I'll be looking to see if we can get a breakout, retest, push higher, or a breakout and a little bit of flat movement afterwards. That would be bullish. Again, you want to be cautious of those look above and fails. That's going to be a bearish signal and indicate that sellers are in control of the price action, given that buyers did not take advantage of the opportunity when they did have that opportunity. The last one we're going to look at is TOON. All right. Now, a lot of people are watching this for some type of really big short squeeze. But if you actually look up some of the fundamentals of this company, I was actually really interested with it and really impressed. So We'll kind of just do like a live charting right here on this one, just so you can kind of guys, see kind of some of the steps that I take. So I just throw on the Bollinger Bands right here. We don't have any of the anchored VWAPs on. I'll have to draw those, but I'll do that at another time. So the first thing I noticed is that we have this gap right here in between this candlestick and this candlestick. So I want to be aware of that, right? I want to put that on my chart, maybe even set some alerts near the gap fill or as the gap starts filling, because this is going to be a trading opportunity. Gaps tend to fill about 90% of the time historically. So the big question is when they're going to fill, not if they're going to fill, right? So what we do, if we actually zoom in even more, we can see that there's a gap down to fill. So which gap are we closer to, right? Are we closer to the gap up or are we closer to the gap down? Well, obviously the answer in this case situation is going to be we're closer to the gap down. So, you need to be really cautious of that right now. If we take a look at our MACD, we can see it trying to curl up, but we're hitting a lot of resistance here at the top end of our Bollinger Band, right? You can see we also flipped our 5-day moving average to resistance from support. So you want to see us get back above that 5-day moving average. That's going to give you a sense of some of the short-term momentum and short-term direction. We'll come here and we'll take our most recent swing high and connect it down to our most recent swing low, and we'll get our Fibonacci retracement levels here. And you can see 217 is acting as a big area of support right now. Meanwhile, 241 is acting like a strong resistance area. So we are a little bit wedged in between these prices at the moment. And once we get a breakout either below to get that gap fill or above, right? The next level is going to be 261, and then we have 281. Above 281, most likely we're going to get that gap fill to the upside. No guarantees, but just a small possibility. If we were to come here and take out a channel, right, and try to draw a little bit of a channel right here, we can see, how this lines up. If this looks good, okay. And, I would say that we do have a little bit of a channel right here trying to form. Now, the thing is that this could be a giant bear flag, right? So, you have your big flag pull down, and then here's the flag itself. If we break this trend line here to the downside, then you should see a pretty significant move to the downside. Now, one thing that I do like, all right, is this thing has been building some bullish divergence for a while. Okay. If we go ahead and just take off our Bollinger Bands and our moving average real quick, so things are nice and clean. We can see here that we have a low, right? We have lower lows, continuing to make these lower lows, but on our R side, we have low, we have a higher low, we have a higher low, we have a higher low. So, we do have some bullish divergence building in here, and that could play out in the price of the stock, and really get it some momentum to the upside. We'll just have to wait and see if that bullish divergence is ever going to play out and ever going to come through. One thing worth noting is that we've been rallying every time we've been bouncing off of that trend line. Now, it's been a short-lived rally, but it's still been a rally nonetheless, right? If we go ahead and just draw some vertical lines real quick, okay, here, and just right around here. And then the next time we come and hit that bullish divergence is right around this area. And you can see shortly afterwards, the stock has a nice little rally. Okay, the next time we come and test that bullish divergence trend line is right over here. And what do you see? We have a nice short-lived little rally in the price of the stock. And same thing happens over here as well, right? We come back and we retest that bullish divergence trend line. And you see, what do we get? We get a nice little short-lived rally in the stock. So if we were to come back down and test this level here, that could be a potential trading opportunity, especially if it's right around the bottom of the channel, or an area where we've held support many times before. Now, the big thing you need to be cautious of is, look at how many times we have tested these levels, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have 6, 7 right here. We've tested this trend line 7 times on the daily chart already. And when you look at the bullish divergence trend line, we've already tested that 4 times as well. The more times you test any of these levels ever, the weaker they're going to get. So if we come back down here and don't get any follow through and break through this bullish divergence trend line and break through this, bullish channel right here, trend line that we have, then most likely we're going to see a pretty significant drop in the stock. And at that point, I would guess that we would break the lows here right around 180 and actually see a standard deviation move to the downside, potentially even to like 140 or even 160, somewhere in those areas. So there is a setup, all right, a little bit, right, for some short-term trading opportunities, but you need to be pretty cautious right now, because you could definitely say that this is a giant bear flag, and you want to, be cautious of these type of things. We did just have a really huge move in the price of the stock. That's when you see the Bollinger Bands really, really expand like the way they are at the moment. And then they typically go through this contractionary period. We're starting to contract right here. The Bollinger Bands are kind of like rubber bands. Each time they expand, they're going to squeeze back in until you get the next big expansion, which is going to move the Bollinger Bands around. Now, that's it for today's video. Just a quick one. Wanted to go ahead and cover some of these individual stocks you guys have been requesting. Don't necessarily always have the time to make one single video for all of them because, that can take a very long time. I got a lot going on. I actually just started a newsletter. It's completely free. And I'll be sending out the first couple emails in the newsletter very shortly, hopefully before market open on Monday. It's going to be really interesting. There's a link in the description or a pinned comment down below. You guys can sign up for that free newsletter. I'd really appreciate it if you would, to help support me and help support the channel. It's going to be really good stuff. It's not going to be any fluff. And I'm even going to include, one or two trade ideas in each single email that I give out. If you guys are interested in free trade ideas and you want it going straight to your inbox, sign up for my newsletter and look forward to that.